Compose. So this course is an introduction course about Jetpack Compose for Android developers who wants to learn about the new design concept. Okay, so what are we gonna cover in this tutorial? We're gonna cover about the fundamental basics of Jetpack Compose, Composables, Declarative Thinking, Composition, Encapsulation, Recompositions, and such and such. Okay, so what are the prerequisites of this course is like obviously you need to know the fundamentals of Android application development. Okay, so let's dive deeper into Jetpack Compose. So what are the building blocks for modern Android UI? So the building blocks for modern Android UI is obviously we need to know about composing. Okay, so the mighty composable, okay, the composable functions that you can see here in the example. Okay, so this is the most important building block of Jetpack Compose. Okay, when you are building applications with Jetpack building Android UI development. So obviously we're gonna ditch the XML, that is the classical way of doing Android UI development, and we are gonna embrace the new era of Android UI development, okay, using Jetpack Compose. So we're gonna further check out Jetpack Compose. This is the modern toolkit that lets you build beautiful and responsive user interface using the power of Kotlin. Okay, so let's break down the fundamentals of Jetpack Compose and get you started with the compose journey. Okay, so the mighty composable, okay, as I told you, the mighty composable, this it uses this annotation of composables, and whatever function is annotated with composables is a compose function. Okay, so this helps us to pretty much defined what your UI elements is going to look like and how they behave. Okay, so instead of writing a verbose XML layout, we describe our UI declaratively. So this means we tell Jetpack Compose what you want to see on the screen, and the Compose takes care of behind the scene magic to render it. Okay, so in this example, as you can already see here, we use this preview. So background is true. Okay, so we just preview, and it's pretty simple. You see, you just need to run this greetings preview, and it will just preview your composable function. Okay, and so displaying it's pretty simple to display your composable functions. Okay, and check it out using the preview. Okay, so now as I told you, the power of Kotlin. Kotlin is a perfect match for Compose, because that is a match made in heaven, because Compose is written in Kotlin, and so you can leverage all the power and expressiveness of the Kotlin programming language. So if you want to add some conditional logic, as you can see here for the example, if you want to add some conditional logic with the UI, so there is no problem. You can use if statements, like as you can see here the example, within your Compose to control what gets displayed based on the certain condition. Okay, so in this example, what I'm showing is like if the user is not equals to null, then you see welcome back and give the username because the user is already logged in, right? But if the user is not logged in and user value is null, then you have to ask the user to sign in, right? And this is how we use the conditional statements with the composables, and you can just control what views get displayed. Okay, so as I told you, you can just use Compose with Kotlin, and they are pretty a perfect match, made in heaven. Okay, so if you want to read and explore further, you can just go over the official Jetpack Compose documentation and dive deeper and deeper, how long as you want to go, right? So let's shift the gear now. Let's go and understand the declarative programming. So what is a declarative programming language? Okay, so in Jetpack Compose, so Jetpack Compose is a declarative programming. It uses this declarative programming approach. Okay, so as you learned earlier, building UI with the traditional Android toolkit involves imperative code. So you write instructions on how things should change on the screen. But Jetpack Compose take a different approach. It uses a declarative programming approach. Okay, so this means you focus on what the UI should look like rather than how to get to the UI step by step. Okay, so for example, so you can think of it as a, instead of telling your friend how to fold a paper airplane imperatively, you simply describe the finished airplane. That is a declarative approach. So you have the final product already ready. So that's a declarative approach. Instead of imperative approach means you go there step by step and arrive to the final product. But declarative approach is you already have a final product, okay, ready. I mean, like final output already getting ready. Okay, so let's break down this declarative approach concept step by step. So you are gonna describe what, not how. Okay, so you can just take a simple example as I have seen here. So I already have this final output, like I have an event card, which is like you can just go to display the title, owner, and call link. So it's a simple event card example. So we describe what should be shown based on the event data. Okay, so as you can see here, so this is a simple composable function example. So as you can see here, so this can just show or adapt based on the event data itself. Okay, so so this makes code cleaner and easier to understand. Okay, so there is no more state synchronization worries, right? So declarative programming eliminates the need of constantly synchronizing your UI with the data model. So you simply describe the desired UI state, and Compose handles the changes behind the scene. So compositions over inheritance. So unlike a traditional inheritance, Jetpack Compose promotes compositions. So you build complex UI by combining simple composable functions, right? So complex UI like event card is created by simple composable functions like rooms and guest, right? And that's it, guys. So so in essence, declarative programming with Jetpack Compose lets you focus on what of your UI, leaving how to the framework. So this results in cleaner, more predictable, and easier to maintain code. Okay, so okay, so now let's shift our gear more. Let's dive more faster, more deeper. Let's dive more deeper, and let's learn about encapsulation in Jetpack Compose. So encapsulation is keeping your composables organized. Okay, so imagine your app's UI are bustling city. So each composable function is like a building block, and just like a city is organized into neighborhoods, you can use encapsulation to organize your composables. Okay, so encapsulation means grouping related composables and their data together. So this keeps your code clean, readable, and easier to maintain. Okay, so here's how encapsulation benefits you. So improved organization. Imagine a composable for a product card. It might have a function to display the product image, name, price, and even a button to add to the card. By encapsulating them all together, you avoid cluttering your main composables and keep things organized. Okay, so reusability. Let's say you have another screen that also needs a product card. By encapsulating the product card logic, you can simply reuse the entire composable functions across different parts of your app. Okay, so maintainability. As your apps grows, you will use your composables. So encapsulation makes it easier to find, modify, and update specific functionalities later on. Okay, so here's an example. As I am going to show you the product example. This is the example. Okay, so in this encapsulation example, so instead of having everything scattered around, you can just encapsulate the product card logic. Okay, here, as you can see, and now you can reuse the product card composables everywhere. Okay, the product screen is using the product card. So now let's dive more deeper. Let's just faster our gear, and let's change our gear and dive deeper to composables. So let's understand another important concept that is called recomposition. So keeping your UI up to date. Okay, so now that you have built your composables, so how does Jetpack Compose ensure your UI stay fresh? Okay, so here's where recomposition comes in. Okay, recomposition is a process of work which Jetpack Compose automatically reveals only the part of the UI that needs to change when the underlying data or state updates. This ensures your UI reflects the latest information efficiently. Okay, so here's a simplified explanation. Like you can change your change can be detected. So your change gets detected. Like imagine you have a composable that displays a counter. When you click a button to increment the counter value, Jetpack Composes detects these changes. Okay, so recomposition triggered. Jetpack Composition identifies which part of your UI are affected by the counter changes. Okay, so in this case only the composable displaying the counter values needs to be revealed. So you can also have a efficient update. Okay, Jetpack Compose only reveals the necessary composables, keeping the rest of the UI intact. So this minimizes performance overhead. So recomposition is a very powerful feature that helps Jetpack Compose maintain a smooth and responsive UI user experience. Okay, so you don't need to write a complex code to handle UI updates. Okay, so Jetpack Compose take care of it for you. So saying this, I would like to close my tutorial and say thank you guys for listening to this tutorial. I mean, like checking out this tutorial. If you like it, please do subscribe, share to your friends, and comment if you have any questions, and just follow me through other lectures where I will be explaining in detail about Jetpack Compose with the clear example. Okay, thank you guys.